Mr. Knight claims other industry people were privy to Diddy's alleged criminal activity. Diddy's recent arrest for alleged racketeering conspiracy and sex trafficking has created a witch hunt in the music industry. Celebrities and fans have been speaking up about who else could potentially be involved or aware of all that went on with the Bad Boy co-founder. Mr. Knight recently claimed several notable people like Jay-Z and Dr. Dre were privy to Puff's crimes. The former Death Row Records CEO spoke with Chris Cuomo of News Nation and clarified that he does not jump up and down and cheer for no black man going to prison. Knight acknowledged that though some people do deserve to serve time in prison for their crimes, it is not always the answer, and it can cause difficulties for those with kids and families. Though he did have this empathetic approach, he also held no punches and called out several rappers who had been silent. "Facts is there," he said. "Where we're at now." Suge Knight also directed his energy at some major powers within the music industry, some of whom have their own public skeletons, such as Russell Simmons, Clive Davis, and Jimmy Iovine. Knight claimed that Diddy was taught this behavior by people before him.
People he got are doing those things or those allegations by himself. He was taught from people before him, and he did it to the younger people after him. And we can talk all day and say what's true, what's not true. Only true part about it is, first of all, you got to start with at the top. You starting with the top: Clive Davis, Russell Simmons, Andre Harrell, Jimmy Iovine. Even if you take Jimmy Iovine, he had an allegation from him, same thing, it went away. And the sad thing about it, I don't like mentioning Usher, I don't like mentioning Justin Bieber, I don't like mentioning all these people that everybody know what time it is. So at the same time, they used to have a joke. They never played this joke with me. And they used to walk in the Interscope office. They'd go back there and they'd be like, "Hey, we passed the test." I said, "We haven't did the test." One dude said, "Well, don't say that in front of Mr. Knight because he's going to take it offensive and hurt somebody." I said, "Well, whatever it is, I probably will take it offensive when somebody will get their ass whooped." You know, that was me in those days. But they used to have these guys, they used to call it the boiled egg test. They used to take a boiled egg, a raw boiled egg, they have those guys put their pants down and bend over and they stick it up their ass. The eggs break, they say they're not ready yet. They ain't put enough work in. This is Hollywood. So everybody want to go act like they don't know what's going on.
Hold on a second, Suge.
You just look. That's all you got to do.
I have never heard of anything like that. So if I haven't heard about it, just assume a lot of people haven't heard that before. But you think it's on video?
Let's stop for a second.
Go ahead, Suge.
Yeah, listen, and also, have you ever been to any puffy parties?
No.
You sure they had a long time to think about it. But if you haven't been in those butt-naked parties, even some of the preachers been in those parties, and they wasn't on their knees praying for God. See, they was praying for somebody to have come real quick or something. But I wasn't there, but there's proof of it. But at the same time, everybody want to look around and act like something going on that wasn't right. It's the facts of life in the industry. Ain't no whistleblower. Facts is there. But right now, I don't care if it's T.I., I don't care if it's Rick Ross, I don't care if it's Jay, I don't care if it's Snoop, I don't care if it's Game, I don't care if it's Dre. Nobody's stepping up on the fact that you know what's going on.
Nobody.
Most important thing is there's got to be a solution, because this has been going on in the industry for a whole bunch of years, for decades.
A lot of the cameras, you didn't even know they were there, but they were there. And also, security was carrying cameras on their jackets. So there's eyes everywhere. Most of the security officers that were hired were ex-cops. Some of them were LA cops. Some of them were Beverly Hills cops. Some of them were detectives. So it was very serious. You got to protect the mansion. You got to protect, especially number one, Mr. Hefner.
A lot of things were just taken care of in his world. The thing is, he had tapes on everybody.
I have extensive electronic equipment in the house, which includes videotape equipment, and that does include cameras, so that if I want to shoot pictures of anything, I can, yes.
Do you?
Do I shoot pictures?
I mean, what is it doing in your bedroom?
Sometimes things happen in the bedroom that I like to tape.
You're being coy. Prim, I might add.
We're on television.
Every room, even outside on the properties, every place had microphones and little cameras. Many of the girls wanted to tell you their problems. and made us all very nervous. We had to be very careful because we know we were being monitored.
Brooke Shields posed nude for Playboy at 10 years old, but she says she still feels protective of her mother, who made her do it. According to Yahoo News, Brooke Shields says she still feels protective of her mother, despite having been made to pose nude for Playboy at 10 years old. In an interview with the Sunday Times, Shields reflected on her relationship with her single mother, Terry Shields, who she grew up with. According to Shields, her mother's decisions about her career exposed her to sexually explicit roles and situations, one of which was a fully nude.
How do you feel about all this fuss that's being made over you?
I think it's kind of fun.
You really are an exquisite-looking young lady. I know you've been told that, but isn't she a pretty girl?
The entirety of my life, it was, she's a pretty face. Over and over and over and over and over again. And that always just seared me.
You just didn't go anywhere that somebody wouldn't know Brooke Shields.
The most photographed woman in the world.
Iconic American beauty. Object of desire.
A sexualized child model.
Exploitation.
Vulnerable. I was on the cover of Time magazine as the face of that whole era. Who decides that?
She was catapulted into the world of adult sexuality.
I just always remember thinking, like, I hope she's okay. She was a young girl in an all-adult world.
I'm amazed that I survived any of it.
Gatekeeping is a major way of how we keep girls under control.
It's very much about what women need to do in order to be desirable to straight men.
One of the responses to feminism was the sexualization of little girls. You're not going to be traditionally feminine. We'll replace you with little girls.
I was struggling to find my own voice. I wasn't told it was important to have agency. I found my confidence and thought I can have my own opinion. Oh, hell no, you're not taking this away from me.
I love Brooke's tone about it. We're moving forward in life.
When someone like Brooke Shields talks about it, it makes a difference. Young people are just working so hard to live up to these unattainable standards.
Long before they can process it. How do you fight a toxic cultural environment?
Everybody has a little Brooke Shields narrative stuck in them because what happened to her isn't really about her as an individual. It's just about women.
I was just born with this face. I wanted to think about the things that could have happened without beauty. Now it's like I'm allowed to be a human being.
Drew Barrymore's days at Studio 54, when she was just 11, were absolutely debaucherous, according to the actor. Drew Barrymore has always been one of the most beloved actresses in Hollywood for some time. Most recently, she is starring in her own amazing talk show, which they rightly pay her a ton of money for. But her days at Studio 54 when she was just 11 years old are some of her least talked about. However, recent interviews with the actor have revealed that her experiences at the infamous club were anything but positive. The mother of two previously disclosed that her first experience with alcohol was at the age of 9, that she started dabbling in substances at 10, and that she started using much stronger substances at the age of 12. By the age of 11, Drew and her mother were regularly spotted at the famed New York nightclub Studio 54. She has opened up about it, saying, her mother asked, "Do you want to go to Studio 54 or go to school and be bullied?" While it was posed as a question, Drew felt there was only one answer. Studio 54. She didn't really care to be around other children anyway because they were mean and they did bully her. So, Drew began going out with her mother and her mother's friends, including Billy Idol, at least 5 times a week to nightclubs. And this is Slide Through Sally reporting for Up in Smoke Radio.
Actor Corey Feldman was one of the first to speak up about child abuse in Hollywood. He and his best friend Corey Haim became actors at a very young age. They were incredibly successful and famous, but the price was high. They were sexually abused by various adults they worked with. It was common knowledge that the two Coreys were passed around at Hollywood parties. They resulted in great trauma that was buried for many years. the two Coreys sought relief in alcohol and drugs, which eventually led to Corey Haim's death at the age of 38. It wasn't until recently that Corey Feldman called out his abusers. Elijah Wood, who became world famous for his part as Frodo in The Lord of the Rings, supported Corey Feldman's statements about Hollywood as a pedophile den. Elijah was protected by his mother, who wouldn't let him visit any of the parties where a lot of the abuse took place.